Okay, recording is set. So this is a really good video talking about the knot technique, and I think he's going to talk about the 369 method. But let's watch this.
Goddard taught this rare and powerful technique to his audience during one of his lectures at the Los Angeles Wilshire Ebell Theater. My grandfather was actually attending this specific lecture when Neville Goddard did this, and that's who I learned this technique from. And I'm going to teach you in detail how to use the knot technique, how to really use the knot technique. And I'm going to break this down because if you're having any blocks, or you're trying to find a way to manifest things fast, understanding this is going to get you to that next level where reality will shift for you. As most of you already know, my grandfather, Elmer Olacher Jr., is a published testimonial in Neville Goddard's book, The Law and the Promise. In the chapter, There Is No Fiction, Neville Goddard was actually asking his audience and people that went to see him at his lectures if they would send him their testimonials, and my grandfather did that. My grandfather was also attending Neville Goddard's VIP meetings in the back of the Wilshire Ebell Theater for everyone that was having success using the law, or actually just really applying it and actually using their imaginations and seeing results. So when everyone climbed a ladder in their imagination and then they climbed it in the three-dimensional world, Neville Goddard said, you could have just as easily made $1 million in cash as you did climbing that ladder, but you must feel exactly how you felt when you were climbing that ladder, how you don't care about climbing a ladder, you're indifferent to climbing a ladder, but yet you're refusing to climb a ladder. If you can correlate that and connect that to the feeling of money, then it will come to you just as easily, just as fast, and just as simply. So I'm going to teach you exactly how this works in this video. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand, and it's going to be your job to apply it and start using this, because once you understand this completely, you're going to really get to that next level and connect the dots with the law of assumption, how manifestation works. All right. So right now, I want you to try as hard as you possibly can not to picture a $100 bill, or a $50 bill, or a $20 bill, or a $5 bill. Do not imagine it. Do not see it in your mind at all. Do not picture a $100 bill. You just pictured a $100 bill. You just pictured a $50 bill. You just pictured a $20 bill. You just pictured these bills because you're trying not to do it. You're trying not to do it. And the more that you try not to do it, the matrix is trying to cover you at every turn. So this is the secret. This is the trick, which is the knot technique, which Neville Goddard discovered. Because as you know, the matrix tries to cover you at every turn when you're trying to manifest things, change everything in your world, trying to manifest things magically in your world. The matrix is designed to cover you at every corner, to at every turn you make. It's supposed to know what you're going to do before you do it and to counter that. But the knot technique is the loophole with the subconscious mind and with the simulation. Now, I want you to try your hardest not to picture someone handing you money. Do not picture someone handing you money in your imagination. Do not do it at any point in your mind right now. Do not imagine someone handing you $1 million or $100,000 or stacks of $100 bills. Do not think of that right now. Do not do it at all. But you cannot do it. So when you say that I will not picture this, I'm not going to picture this, I'm not going to climb a ladder, I'm not going to accept money from someone, I'm not going to allow someone to give me money, you are actually picturing yourself climbing a ladder, picturing yourself receiving money, picturing someone giving you money as you're doing these techniques, as you're doing this. And when you say, I will not, you are making the assumption that you already have so much of these things, that you have a plethora of money in your life, of ladders in your life, that they're everywhere. So the subconscious mind of the matrix is feeling this. It's feeling that you really don't want these because you have so much of it already. So what happens with the matrix is it's going to put all of these things in your path. It's going to put ladders, money, or whatever you're not trying to create, what you're not trying to manifest. So you can actually experience the correlation here with your everyday life. A really good example on the knot technique and how and why this works so powerfully is for me when I'm driving somewhere and I'm trying to get there in a hurry. Like I have a 10-minute drive, I need to get there in 5 minutes, but I have all these stoplights ahead of me. Okay, so I'm thinking to myself, I need this light to be green. I need this light to be green. I need all these lights to be green. But as I'm thinking that I want these lights to be green, they're actually turning red. I'll hit every single light on my way to wherever I'm going. But if I go there and I have an hour to get somewhere in 10 minutes and I'm just enjoying driving, and I want to take my time, and it doesn't matter. None of that matters. I'll hit every single green light if I'm not in a hurry. But if I'm in a hurry, I will hit every single red light because the Matrix can feel these. Feeling is the secret. Imagination creates reality. And what you don't want to happen is going to happen. And what you do want to happen is not going to happen. So when you say, I don't want money, and you can correlate the ladder exercise, because this is why Neville Goddard gave us the ladder exercise, and it works so well for anyone that does it, is because who cares about climbing a ladder? You really don't want to climb a ladder. You're actually refusing it. But when you and that's why they appear everywhere. That's why you see them everywhere. But once you connect that to making $1 million in cash, you're like, okay, I don't want this, but I really do want this. So you can't. It's hard for you to connect the feeling of climbing the ladder, that indifference to it, to connecting that to millions of dollars that are going to come to you. So that's the part where you have to connect. You have to learn to connect, and you do this by becoming more conscious and aware of how the law works, and then start applying it. And then start detaching yourself from the feelings that you get when you're trying to manifest money, and connect that to the ladder. How you feel about climbing a ladder, who cares? Who cares if I climb a ladder? I'm going to refuse this. I'm going to disprove Neville Goddard. I don't care about climbing a ladder. But when it comes to money, am I really going to refuse someone giving me $100,000? Are you truly going to refuse that? So this entire aspect of saying, I do not want this, or I will not do this, creates a powerful magnetic force, because you are picturing it in your imagination and you're not attached to the outcome, because you are refusing to want it and refusing to do it. This shifts you in the multiverse to the world where you get everything that you have pictured. And another really powerful aspect of this is when you use the knot technique, when you truly don't want something, you are signaling a frequency of already having it to the subconscious or the simulation or the matrix. So the non-selective subconscious mind thinks you live in a world where you have so much money or whatever you're manifesting in your life that you don't need it and you don't want it. So guess what? Here it comes. And just to give you more examples of this, I'm going to give you my own testimonial of how I use this using the knot technique. I coupled it with Nikola Tesla's 369 method. And this was about my silver play button. When I was eligible, I got to like 105,000 subscribers on YouTube. And as you know, YouTubers, when they get to 100,000, they get a silver play button. So I contacted Google and I said, I would like to request my silver play button because I earned it. I wanted it, and I had this kind of attachment to it. So, and I really wanted that kind of like a trophy, for what I have accomplished and the value that I've given out, just to have that feeling. So I contacted them, and then they sent me an email back and said that I'm not eligible for the award. They told me this because I had created a video, a visualization where I created it was basically a prayer for everyone that had COVID and helping people that had COVID, curing people that had COVID, by everyone imagining, specific things about everyone being cured, and COVID was no longer existent. So immediately when I created that video, YouTube took it down. They said I went against their guidelines, giving medical advice or something, whatever it was. But they gave me a warning strike for that. So this is the reason why they said I wasn't eligible. So I kind of got upset a little bit, but I didn't try to argue it with them because they said it's in our guidelines. You're absolutely not going to get it, but you can appeal. So I didn't appeal, but I went in my imagination and I appealed. That's how I appealed this. Okay. So the first thing that I did was I wrote down 3 times and 6 times and 9 times. In the morning, I wrote 3 times, afternoon 6 times, 9 times before I went to bed, that I do not and I will not accept this YouTube award. I do not want this. And as I'm writing this 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times before I go to sleep, I'm really truly taking the feeling in that it doesn't really matter whether I get this. I don't really want it. And if I had it right now, you want to know what? I'd throw it in the trash. I don't care. I'm indifferent to it, but I'm going to fall asleep and I'm going to create this feeling. Okay. So, and at night, I would imagine myself being congratulated by my family and friends, holding the YouTube plaque. They were like, oh my gosh, congratulations, you got that. Even sending texts to people and them texting me back. I'm sending them pictures in my imagination, just like quick rehearsals, you know, in imaginal clips, like pictures of me sending video or pictures to people with, you know, me holding it or me just, you know, taking pictures of it and sending it to people. So, and people were sending me text messages back saying, oh, congratulations, you know, things like that. I was running in my mind as I'm going to sleep. The 4th day, YouTube contacts me and said, we are going to send you the YouTube play button. Didn't give me a reason, didn't say anything. Said, you are now eligible for it. So I wasn't going to argue that. I just accepted that. And then it came to my doorstep like 10 days later, and now it's right behind me. And this is how I applied the knot technique and essentially what I got from it. And I've used it on other occasions too, but it's essentially creating the detachment of the result of the thing that you desire, like attaching it to climbing a ladder. Like, who cares about climbing a ladder? Who cares about the YouTube play button? Who cares about $1 million? I don't care. And I already have so much of it. I already have everything that I need. Everything in my life is working out perfectly, okay? And when you get into this state, the matrix is kind of confused, because it's not really confused, but it just starts giving you more of those feeling states that you have. Because if you feel like you're completely complete and full, successful, abundant, rich, and it feels this, you're just going to have a plethora of things that are just going to come to you, you know, that are based on that feeling state that you have. So it's just understanding and correlating these feeling states. Like, who cares about money? You know, who cares about money? I already have so much money. Who cares about YouTube play button? Who cares about any of this? Who cares about climbing a ladder? And when you can get to that state and correlate your feeling states with this, that's when everything starts coming to you. All these doors will just open for you, and the floodgates just come in, you know, and you just get the same feeling states that you have, you know, and when it comes to you, it's just kind of like a natural feeling. You still feel the kind of the same way, but just you get kind of excited and emotional. But it's just really, really fun to truly master these techniques with the matrix, because the matrix is trying to like cut you off at every corner. But once you learn these techniques, you can there's nothing that it can do, because it doesn't really understand what you're doing. You kind of outsmarted the matrix. So the first thing that you can really do with this is just really start understanding the difference between that. So think about the ladder. You know, think about the ladder, about you climbing a ladder. You're picturing climbing a ladder, but you're writing down, I will not climb a ladder. But truly, you don't care about climbing a ladder. So trying to correlate and connect that feeling that you had with the ladder to money or to relationships or to whatever you're trying to manifest specifically. Like, so attach that same feeling, like just like the ladder. Who cares about climbing the ladder? If you climb it, if you don't, you don't, but you're going to refuse it because you don't care about it. You don't have any attachment to it. So don't have any attachment to relationships. Don't have any attachment to money or success or abundance. Just feel that you already have those things. Feel that you're already loved. You're already in great relationships. You're already successful. You've already climbed a ladder. You know, all of these, that's essentially what the matrix is running off of. And that's how it shifts you in the multiverse, the simulation, the glitches and everything. It operates just like that. And it can happen instantly. It's kind of like, you know, I said driving down the road, you're trying to get there in a hurry. You're like, please don't turn red. Light, don't turn red, and it turns red. All right, so it happens that quick. You know, it can happen that quick, okay? Things can manifest into your world that quick. And if you're just driving down the road, you know, and you're like, you want the light to turn red. I want the light to turn red because you want to test out your new supercar 0 to 60. You're like, turn red, turn red. It never turns red. It always stays green. You don't get what you want. You get what you don't want. So keep that in your mind. Keep that in your mind. And connect the dots. Watch this video as many times as you need to. Send it to whoever you may think will understand this and actually start applying this as well. It can really assist them in their manifestations. Anyone that's having blocks, they can also use this. All right, that's the end of this video. I love you, and I will attach a sleep meditation to the end, a card on the screen. Click on that. It's a very great guided visualization to create powerful feeling states as you're falling asleep. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right. So this was a really good, simple explanation. I liked when David said, "Don't imagine somebody handing you money," and I think that's a good one, a really good exercise. But please tell me, what do you think about this exercise? Yes, go.
Is that for me? Oh, hi.
Yes.
Yeah. So, in terms of the knot technique, I understand where David is coming from in terms of, detachment. But I don't like and I know our subconscious doesn't use words, it uses feeling. But I don't feel comfortable saying I will not, have something, because maybe it's deep rooted, from my Christian beliefs that, our words are powerful. Like there's some place in the Bible that says, thy words shall not return unto me void. And I just feel like, and I guess, this is my own belief, that by using the not word, it is a statement that I'm making. And there are several ways that I can detach myself, because I guess that's what the knot technique is, and that's what David's teaching, is to get detached from it. And I guess last week when Tilda, you were speaking of Helen Hadsil, and I have her book and I have some markings, and I guess there was a part in her book where she says the knowing feeling and I think the desire feeling. And when you have a certain feeling where you're so anxious, it's because you haven't. And I know she came from a law of attraction background, but I guess in these terms, Neville has mentioned this as well. You haven't given it enough energy, so you haven't made it feel natural. So you're still, anxious. You're still anticipating it. But in terms of if you want to remove that attachment, you just need to keep on visualizing, because and these she loved these words, and she said there are no failures, they are only delay of results. And once she said she had a dream, and in her dream she was in a huge building, and in that building there were cars, houses, lottery wins. And she went to the man guiding the building, and she was very spiritual. And she asked the man, "What is this building for?" And he said, "These are so many people's manifestations that they give up, but 10-20% of the time people come back and he's glad to give them back to them. But so many times people just give up because we want it so badly, we don't continue, we haven't detached or given it energy." So I guess how I have decided to start detaching from the outcome is to just understand that there are no failures, it's only a delay in results. So yeah, I know I've gone around, but to give my opinion, I don't like that word not.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, who else wants to share something?
I'll go with I think it's in the duality of the when you say it is going to happen or not happen. It was amazing that David spoke on yesterday about the quantum potential waves. I posted it in a group, but I took it out. When there's a possibility of waves, but in order to make a reality, only two are used, which makes me think that has to be a negative and a positive. They keep talking about those two balancing. So I think it's going to be created by the way of focus or energy that you put into it, not as just a word. It's actually not even a word in the subconscious language. Not can't exist. Because it's just flow. So not is just a word to us. I'm gonna make y'all laugh. When I first saw David, it's about 4 to 3 years ago. The first thing I saw was something yellow and ugly and those little cheap glasses. I said that man will never be anything. I say he's speaking so much truth, but that dude right there, I said just by judging him from his background, and I listened to a couple of more. He helped me. I was searching Neville, and he just happened to come up. I said, "Man, that dude is good." I said his knowledge is awesome. I didn't really listen, but the background threw me off. I said that little ugly background. Then he later said it was a halfway house. I said, "Oh my god!" So, and then down the line, I'm listening to Brian Scott, and I'm like, bro, I fell asleep to Brian Scott. When I woke up, I heard David. Didn't know it was him. I say, man, Brian Scott really kicking some knowledge. I said, yeah, I didn't even know. I was like, and I kept Googling it or looking it up on YouTube. It was never Brian Scott. I never could find it. I was like, where's that Brian Scott Neville Power of Awareness video? Never kept looking, and they almost look alike. I think Brian Scott and David has. If you fall asleep at 3 in the morning, they both look alike. If it's 3 in the morning, so anybody looks alike at 3. So here it is down the line. The man I said would never make it has all these to see him advance. So not as just a word, but it's not. It's not. It's just it's a word for us.
It's still there. Thank you. It's funny. Now I came to a realization. It's there's something going on with these bald people. I'm just kidding, because there's it's David, it's Brian Scott, and there's this other guy that talks about manifestation. He's also bald. So I don't know. Maybe we have to cut our hair to get the knowledge.
Will you
Wait
cut
for
your
James,
hair for
let
a
me,
million?
let me,
Terrence, you gonna cut your hair? We cut. Are
yeah,
we going to cut? No honey
what do you
buns
think
and
so?
bald heads.
The bald head is the secret.
Yeah, we'll have to start a new movement, Dave. James,
Yes.
we'll have to start a new movement, mate.
I started a new movement.
Yeah.
The bald
What
one.
do you mean? This is about 3 years growth of hair, yeah?
It's long. Look at that, Terrence.
David said he wanted to go another direction. If he changed the group to bald heads manifested, I'm sure
Right
a whole
foot.
bunch of people will jump on.
Yeah. 'Cause if they all looked like him, then it'd be good. It'd work. If they all look like Dave, like David.
Yeah, we have to act like David, right? All right.
Yeah. Oh, why not? Act like him, look like him.
Okay,
Well,
Rose, go.
that'll make me look more. That'll make me look more like him. Oh,
So
I've really
with
enjoyed this one, man.
with the knot technique, you're also supposed to be like visualizing at the same time of actually doing the thing. So it's not just like saying the words, right? So there's an emphasis that yes, the words do help us manifest, right? But the emphasis is on the imagination, the imaginal act is what I'm trying to say. So if you can make it vivid and real, that's what you're going to create. And it shows that, just because we say words doesn't mean that we're going to end up with the things. And actually, I just got done listening to some really powerful things that Brian Scott went over in his school group, and he talked about affirmations and like how he has like a formula of how to make affirmations specifically, because we get caught in, you know, people think that they can make repetitious affirmations and make something happen, and that's erroneous. I mean, it will eventually work, but you know, even the Bible talks about making not making vain repetitions. And so when you learn how to actually make the affirmation powerful and correct, and to also erase your old core beliefs and replace it with a new core belief, then the affirmation can be very powerful. So I think that the knot technique, after I think about it a little bit, after hearing Brian Scott go over that, is that it's showing us how powerful just our visualization power is, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you. Please, Ify.
Yeah, thank you, Rose. I completely agree with what you said, because when I first watched that video, I think it was in 2017. No, sorry, 2016, David posted that video. And I think it was his friend that initially posted it, because he probably was in prison then. And it was even around the time I first heard about Neville. And what I got from that video in 2016 was, we can say whatever we want during the day. And I thought the video was teaching us how powerful SATS is, that it overrides whatever we say during the day. Because in the 5 lessons, Neville does talk about, you know, he's from the Caribbean, and in the Caribbean, back in probably when he was born, they had no refrigerator. So they used to use fish to feed the duck, but you couldn't eat a duck that was fed on fish. You had to, when you're prepared, when you wanted to kill the duck, you have to bring them out 7 days and feed them with corn, sour milk, all that. And he was trying to illustrate that, yes, SATS is powerful, and SATS can override. But for some people, when it's so heavy, when it's so impressed, when it's so deep, that you still have to control what you're saying during the day, that you can't feed the duck fish in the morning, sour milk and in the evening, and then sour milk at night. It has to be a complete change of diet. So if I'm saying the knots during the day and SATs during the night, if my SATs are not so powerful to override, because if everything is energy, I might not be strong enough to accumulate more energy at night. I might need energy throughout the day, like the duck. So yeah, when I first watched that video in 2016, that's what I got from it. It's what the SATs can be so powerful. It can override what you say during the day, but not for everybody if you haven't really impressed it with the SATs at night.
Thank you. Okay,
You're welcome.
the knot technique, it's like you were saying earlier, it's basically to work with detachment. And actually, David, in some videos, in some lives, he says that it's not necessary to actually do it. And especially because not all the techniques are going to work for all of us. So if you are feeling like maybe it's not a good idea, I will advise you to not to do it, because then whatever you think works, or whatever you think it doesn't work, you're right. So for some people, maybe it's going to be a really good technique and everything, but for some others, maybe not. And like I think I was telling you the last live, sometimes when do some affirmations or affirmations. I don't know if have you heard about that at night. They kind of work really well with me. And because sometimes when I'm doing sats, it's really complicated with me because even though I'm in a on an awkward position, man, I can fall asleep basically in whatever awkward position really fast, and yeah, it doesn't actually work really well. So if I'm like saying things and everything, because I can visualize something, but then I don't get into the whole completion of the scene, and then I fall asleep. So that's a big challenge for me. I think I should go to bed maybe earlier when I'm feeling less tired. Maybe that's something that can work. But yeah, thank you, Ify. All right, my friends. Okay, well, this was a really good live session. I really enjoy it. Too bad that Daniel came at the very end. But well, anyway, that's how the ball rolls today. Does anybody wants to share something else before we bounce?
I just wanted to say that I agree with you that I enjoyed it immensely. It was really good and I got a lot out of it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, my friends. So let's. I'll have I'll give a little thinking, a little thought about what Terence proposed. If you are down, if maybe one live, we can do it to talk about what something similar that we were talking at the beginning. Well, let me know. I actually would like to know if everybody would like to have something like that. Not all the lives, just maybe one live to discuss some techniques. Well, not techniques, maybe some theories.
I sent those files to you. There's 2 of them in your mail. So I've sent those 2. Have a look at them, James. See what you think of them. Okay. If you think they're suitable, okay. If not, it's okay. No problem.
Okay, Terence. Yeah, I'll check it out. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I like the addition of being social. It gives us a break from the manifestation talks and still be talking about manifestation. So I like it. I really do. It's like the workbook to the, I like it. The tangent of it. So whatever ideas you guys come up with.
Okay. Yeah, maybe sometimes we can talk regarding the same topic, but in a different.
But
Because yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. All right. So well, that's it for today. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see each other on Monday.
Thank you
See
so
you
much.
guys. Bye bye.
Bye.
Take care, guys.